Hello everybody, it's day 23 of Shelter, and I hope you've had a beautiful Saturday. We certainly have in the crew. It's been absolutely one of the most magnificent days here. We have cleaned hard, the house is shining, and we've just settled down after a beautiful family braai. So we count ourselves super grateful this afternoon for a beautiful connected day in many ways. So the last time we chatted, we spoke about the drama triangle. And I thought it was a good way for us to kick off with a little bit more in-depth on a particular subject, being boundaries, because we said that what you most certainly need when you are in the drama triangle is boundaries to keep you out of it. So boundaries is quite a flaunted word by many, but to tell you the truth, there's very few people that know how to keep good, healthy, strong boundaries. And of course, that's what we need to keep our relationships healthy, both with ourselves and with others. So every one of us right now are in the middle of our life story. And our life story is made up of our yeses and our nos. And our yeses and our nos are our boundaries. So it's a really important subject. And I think I've mentioned previously that to really have good, strong, healthy boundaries, you really need to know yourself, because you need to know what's okay, what's not okay, where your limits are, keeping the good in, the bad out, and obviously the various things that you're responsible for. But we'll talk about that a little bit more tomorrow. So I want to give you a tool today around boundaries, because there's one thing that we have that really gives us an incredible cue as to what's going on for us and whether we should actually be saying yes or no to a subject. And my dog is crying to come out. Come on. And our yeses and our nos are really important cues for us around emotions. So our emotions are the very thing that are actually giving us a cue to say yes or no. And we've already learned how important emotions are. However, we tend to not really listen to them when it comes to making these important decisions. But we've already said that emotions are there with very, very important data, giving you a direction or an indication of whether it... oh gosh, this is not going to work. I might have to end the video and start again. Anyway, we'll keep going. So the tool in your hand are your emotions, and almost like a compass that you have with a yes and a no on it. And your emotions are basically giving you that cue for your compass to be able to say yes or no. So basically what we're saying is you need to be able to manage your emotions. Lots of sounds around me today. So boundary setting will release emotions, and sometimes our compass gets a little bit clouded, and we don't really know whether to say yes or no. And this often happens when we've been arguing or ignoring our compass, and in this case ignoring, suppressing or denying our emotions, and we won't really get the cues. So if you're paying attention, it gives you your yes or your no, and you'll just have to figure out the details around that. And obviously the details are around whether you would take on the accountability or whether this is your area of responsibility. And of course, this compass is highly sensitive to stress, because it's the stress that often clouds over the compass. And we've already learned that when we are stressed, we go into old patterns. And especially if you're a pattern of people pleasing, you will probably find that you will say yes more often than you probably should. And Yeah, I think when I learnt about values, I learnt about it in conjunction with my values. And I think that played an enormous role in giving me a key for how to say and what to say yes and no to. So, for argument's sake, let's say I was in town for a week. And a friend said, "Hey, I've got a birthday party on Saturday. Won't you stay an extra night?" I would immediately say, "I've got to get home. I've been traveling for a week. Love you to bits. I'll see you my next trip for a cup of coffee or a celebration, but I need to get home." So it's me saying no to somebody who is dear to me, but not as dear as my family. So that's what values does as well. It allows us to really put boundaries in place, and allows us to stay within integrity within ourselves. So I've got a ring on my finger, and this ring is something that I've used since I've started getting used to using boundaries and actually looking after me. Because, of course, when we say yes to everything, we're the ones that actually are on the losing end of the stick. We're the ones that get tired and weary. We are often running around, and we get used and abused by way too many people. So really important is, as I was saying, my ring. So this ring is on my finger, and I generally turn it 3 times before I say yes to anything. And the reason I do that is to check in with my emotions, to be able to say, am I going to be comfortable, feeling uncomfortable about saying no? Because that will come. So I'm going to fight that feeling in the moment, or am I going to say yes and then live with the resentment that is going to follow? So this is something that I utilize as a bit of a cue for myself. So, so boundaries have a way of taking care of you. So when we start to talk boundaries, we talk about self-care, and we're not only talking about eating and exercise, because you can still have eating and exercise and still be really stressed about not having good, healthy boundaries. So boundaries has a bigger landscape than eating and exercise. And self-care is how you treat yourself. How you find enjoyment, how you find play, rest, happiness, balance, and companionship. So I don't know about you, but certainly I had to learn to take care of myself. I had to learn that I was also important. And learning to say no started putting that in place for me. So I now have cultivated a self-care space for myself. And part of that is me saying loving me time. So walking in the veld, exercising, eating great food, which I've already said, is part of me loving me. So, I think that's a very healthy place to be. And it's something that you definitely want to start cultivating. The other thing you'd like to, or you should be looking at, is if you're seriously battling with boundaries, is actually to reach out and find some sort of support for yourself. And then the last one is choosing your responsibilities and making sure that you're not putting your hand up when it's actually not your role or your responsibility to be taking on. So we all need time to relax from problem solving. We're in the middle of a device-driven world, but the truth is we don't have to be on all the time. We need a bit of rest to be able to take care of us. So we are in the middle of our story, and our stories are being shaped by our yeses and our nos. So I will leave you with the thought of, what are you saying yes to today, and what are you saying no to? And how well are you taking care of you? I'll see you tomorrow.